Happy Monday, folks. Hope you're having a good day. We are back in Satisfactory because I want to be. We're going to have some fun today, I think, trying to build some more on the base. We've got some automation to take care of. I got to double check that things are going through the storage system. And, of course, we are building the Metroplex here on this save. I'm not sure when I'm going to move back into Update 4 and start getting Devastator ready, but it will be probably relatively soon. System stop. Welcome in. Cosmic Dancers. Duggan, good to see you. Sweet Sandy is here, of course. Yeah, I'm going to try and complete some of the unfinished areas of the build today. I don't know what we're going to have for tickets. Probably not a heck of a lot. But I'll run through some of the things that I finished up last night after the stream. 2 tickets. I might just get the hypertube wall mounts. That might be helpful. But we'll see what else is going on. So for folks just tuning in, my name is Joel Duggan, and this is the Update 5 Metroplex save. And we have been working on, let's just do this on the hypertube. We've been working on this for a few weeks now since Update 5 came out. We had the basics kind of set down before Update 5. We used this world to get ready for Update 4 as well. But it's really been something we've put a lot of time in the last 2 weeks to try and come up with some cool build shapes, working on different things we want to accomplish, and then translate those new kind of shapes and, I guess, knowledge in the game to our main save, which has got almost 600 hours. This is at like 150, I think? Something like that. Speaking of, Metroplex 048, I think? No, 46. Today's the 11th, though. Update 5, 11, oh wait. I'll do that. Conform. So yeah, we've got that all finished in. There is something cool I want to do up there. We need to remove those eventually. We need to fix that all up and open those doors. I'd like to try and take some of this concrete that I like and like move that around. Just trying to make the front look a little bit more finished. Right now it feels a little bit early sketch phase, and I'd like to try and sort that out. I don't know if I like these ramps here. I kind of wonder if we should knock this back a little bit farther, because this is temporary. I feel like we might be better off to have a ramp going down this way, and then like have a ramp come up that way maybe. Might be worth looking at. First though, we'll have to check out our inventory and see what we need to pick up. There's a new episode of the Spawn Chunks out there today, if people are interested. That is at thespawnchunks.com. Johnny and I talked about the latest snapshot, as well as what else did we talk about? The allay. We had a music teacher write in actually and talk about the musical aspects of the allay, or the potential of the allay. And there was one other thing that we talked about too. Oh, how we're spending time between now and the next update. That's how we rolled. So this is all sorted out now. I added some lights here, so I'll be curious to see what this looks like at night. I also took away all the temporary stuff on the outside and kind of made it smooth. It looks okay. I'm not sure about these sections here. I'm not sure about those bits there. We might keep those. This part here needs to be made dark, and I don't know how to do that because it doesn't look quite right. It looks like 1, 2, and then 3, 4 when it should be this is the top and this is the bottom. So I need to make something in here that makes that feel deeper, I guess. You can see the depth over on the side there, but it doesn't always compute. Everything else is pretty good. The only thing that I'm concerned about here now, I don't know if I want to keep these red things. I think I might want to change them, and I think I might want to, by doing that, I think we might clear the manta. So the next time the manta comes by, we'll have to see what it's clipping and where. It might be clipping over here, actually. Not entirely sure. Depends on where it flaps. It was a good app. Thanks very much, Cosmic. So all of this stuff is now going, and I kept it pretty simple. We've got stitched iron plates being made over here. And they're all at 88.88%. We've got the wire and the steel plates, or iron plates coming in from above. The wire is just always slow. So we're not supposed to be making capacity, but these things seem to be backed up, so I don't know why these are at 100% efficiency. They shouldn't be. So that's confusing to me. Now over here, we have the modular frames, taking the reinforced plates and the rods. And we also have iron going up top to be made into iron rods. And that's going down into, with leaving these here, and the rods are going down there. You can see the rods traveling down these lifts. And so this is all being distributed. And what was nice about this is that we need to make 12 per minute. There's 10, so that's 120 per minute, and that leaves 30 left over. So I thought, well, we'll just take the bleed over, throw it into a single constructor making iron plates, and these just go straight into our storage system. That's all they do. They go downstairs. And they come out down here, right here. And so these are plates that are going into the storage system. And then our final product of modular frames is also going into the storage system. So this all cooks along here. And this is what I wanted to double check today. I'm also really frustrated that I made this at this level, and then one level down is where I put this massive platform. I don't remember why I chose this level. I think it was because of the space elevator. That, or maybe it's got something to do with what's underneath it. I feel like we're really close to these miners, so we might be better off to raise this whole level up to that level. Probably. I think it's over here. There's more. Yeah, there's another miner over there. Well, we're going to hit those anyway. Okay, so we'll have to rethink that. Just so long as they don't end up going 88 miles per hour. No, we wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want to end up in the future or the past. So everything here is being collected into the storage system. We'll go upstairs and double check that. I've got a couple of ways down here, but it's quickly becoming tedious to get down here if we ever need to, so I'm trying to avoid it where I can. I'm also running the power underneath here, from one end of the building to the other. Normally I do it in the walls, but on this particular end of the building, the wall is only so wide, and I didn't want to have wires running like the whole length of this in here. This kind of stuff is fine. But that's where that's going, so we need to double check. Don't need this here anymore. And I think everything is in here. Right. So we've got everything coming up there. I'm just going to upgrade this for now. Just because that's the last leg. And as more stuff gets piled in there, we'll have to worry about it. Now this stuff is all unfortunately not going to be working because this isn't looking for anything in particular. Can I not? Oh, that's just a regular splitter. There's a smart splitter. So I was making my cable here. We'll have to make the cable somewhere else, but we've got other copper to work on now. So I can just temporarily remove all of this stuff. Makes me happy. So this is going to unlock whatever potential we have for this space here. One less machine to power. Oh, crap. That was dumb. I had that set up to make cable. That's right. We need to now connect this. Is this a merger? It's a merger. That's my, this little basket here is my my input container. Jazz Plays, hello. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you as well. Hope you're having a good day. I think this is like directly attached. Or is there a belt down here? It looks like there's a belt down here. There is. Update you. Alright, let's check the old inventory. Let's see what we've got going on here. So we're going to need more. Put that back. We need to go get some more quartz, unfortunately. Grab some more silica while we're here. So one of the things I want to work on today is sorting out the next phase for our production, because we're going to need to automate a couple things that we're not currently automating, like stators and rotors. I think rotors is the next thing. We need to make some more. We've got lots of screws, but rods. We're going to have to make some rods somewhere. I played both Satisfactory and Minecraft today, says Cosmic. It was fun. In the morning of pressing all the wrong buttons and the wrong games and really missing sort inventory. Yeah, sort inventory in your Satisfactory game is definitely worth it. I just realized that I wanted to show the way that I did the power upstairs. I added beams, and they cover up part of the power nodes. These stairs are very windy. But yeah, so I added these white beams underneath everything. And so they keep everything nice and tidy. I don't know what's happening with this wire. Sometimes they droop, sometimes they don't. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch or not, but anyway, I really like the look of this compared to what we've had before. That works out really well. And then I also added these little things coming down from the roof. That's how the power gets across. It's subtle. And then we can also add things like that to smooth that out a little bit. And I think what we'll do is probably, I might leave them white. It might be cool to leave them white. It might be something that we can add something here to them. Realizing that this needs to be made into concrete. And I'm not sure what I'm doing with this window on my left. I've got absolutely no idea. So it feels like a lot of big empty space, but I like how clear and clean everything is, right? We'll have to figure out if we want to keep the ladders. But the next thing is going to be to increase our steel production, because we're just basically doing enough for our inventory. We're not really making anything for production. And also we need to finish off the bottom floor of this and figure out what's happening, because we have iron over here that we can turn into rods, but we also have screws over there, and I'm wondering if it's going to be better to make the rods and the screws there, because what we need to make are rotors. And they take 5 versus 25, so it's going to be better to have them closer to the screws than it is anything else. Not that we can't take the rods from here and send them over that way. Not a big deal either. Hey, Dang Rice, how's it going? Welcome in. So that's one thing we got to do. What's my jetpack fuel like? Oh yeah, we need some gas. Need some gas. Let's use these. And it might not be a bad idea to go get some quartz too. We need to make some crystal oscillators. Take some plastic while we're here. That doesn't feel like a lot of plastic. That train should be dropping off more plastic. All right, drop this off over here. Well, maybe we've just got all the plastic here. That goes there, and I guess it's just a question of whether what do we want to do, folks? Do we want to go get more quartz? Do we want to scope out? Maybe we should scope out the coal situation and see what's really happening. Because we can increase the coal. We can increase the throughput. No wonder the train isn't dropping off plastic. You have all the plastic. Yeah, that's fair. I love that these streets are super wide. Very handy. Let's do all the things. Road trip. Yep. Let's go check out the coal. So first stop is these guys here. So this is dropping off coal. It's got an output of 270 and 120. Only because it's being split down here to feed the truck. So this could be switched over to gas. Because this only takes a little bit. Because it's the way that the new trucks work is they only take enough fuel for what they need. So I'm not sure what that truck actually takes when it comes back. But we'll go see what the miner's doing. The miner, I'm sure, is old. It's probably only doing 120. Did I bring? I did. Okay. Brought power shards. I'm also short on food, so we're going to be stopping and grabbing stuff as we go. So you can see our truck route along this way goes up to the truck station on the left. And we could turn this into either a full truck station or a train station. It might be worth turning it into a train station down the line. So I'm just going to pull over here out of the way. I'm pretty sure this is going to be full up. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen with that truck. We might have to add another truck. 240. This is a pure coal output. That's good. I don't know if we can get this to max. We can only max it out at 480. Is there a beacon over here? Does not look like I brought a beacon over here. Wait a minute. There's all of our beacons. Nope. Wait for that truck to come back. This is a very rudimentary build. Just meant to keep the truck fueled and fill up as she goes. But we can possibly add another truck to this. Now the cool thing is, with these new routes, I don't know if I have to record a new one or if I can just assign... I might be able to assign this a new... Oh, there's the truck. How much do you take? I'm curious. Like, first off, are you empty? Obviously a very poorly recorded path. We're probably gonna have to redo this. So how much fuel do you take? Oh, it must have already took it. This doesn't run out though. That's good. That means that it's taking a full load of coal every time. Alright, well let's just upgrade this so we know what's happening over here. And yeah, it doesn't look like I brought a coal beacon. So we'll put one down. So our max belt speed currently is 480. So we'll increase this to 480. It can do 600, but we don't have a belt fast enough. So we could potentially put more trucks on this. I hear you, animal. Where are you? Come on up. Anybody else? It's Monday. Don't mess with me on Monday. Graham Baboom, this is Satisfactory. I talk about it a fair bit on other podcasts, and sometimes in the render distance. We actually talked about it on the main show today in the spawn chunks. Alright, so this is going to fill up ridiculously fast. What is the capacity of a tractor, out of curiosity? I think it's whatever one chest full. Oh, I can't build one. Of course I can't build one. Let's just get on you and see what's up. No! Oh. Not what I intended. Hey look, nuts. I think I can drive around here and get back up on top. So let's Open record menu is L? Right. We are going to disable autopilot so I can get out of this guy. So he's totally empty. So he was able to completely empty, and he's only got 9 fuel in his compartment. So we'll get this guy back up on top. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of leg way. Let's get you back up here. So I changed my hotkey to L, so we'll enable autopilot, and then we'll get off. So he had 9. He had 9 inventory, and he was also empty for coal. So we'll see what he ends up getting. I definitely want to fix this path. This is terrible. So he's getting loaded way over there. That's terrible. Oh, the animation's a bit wonky. Alright, so he stops there, and then we'll grab him on the way out. Cancel. Disable autopilot. So you had 9 fuel. You now have 23. So he only needs like 12 fuel, and he's not a full capacity. So hopefully, by the time he gets back, we might be better off doing a truck rather than a tractor. I don't know what the round trip is. But if this can get up to a full 3 lines, because I think that's what the capacity was for the tractor, then we know that we'll have to add another vehicle. So as long as this is being, as long as this is not fully empty, I think. Can't remember how this goes. We should put a buffer here, I guess. That's one thing we could do. I've got no idea how accurate that truck route is. We'll have to see what we got going on here. Jeez! Sneak attack? Son of a... Get back here. That scared the crap out of me. Oh yeah, the belts are super fast once you get up into the tier 4 and 5. So here comes the tractor again. So he's going to be empty, and again probably has 9 coal in it, give or take. We'll try to stop him up here. Disable autopilot. Right, so it takes roughly like 9 to 10 coal for that trip, so that's fine. He's got 3 plus 1. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 2,500 that he can carry, but the speed is 480. So yeah, this is not filling up fast enough. So I guess that's good. I guess that means that it's still getting 480 per minute because that's an adequate storage system. So that's good. That means we don't have to re-record the route or add a tractor. So it's janky, but we'll make it pretty some other time. There was another bush around here that had nuts and berries on it, I think, too. Yeah, right here. Anything over this way? Oh, we need one of these for research. I hear a slug somewhere. These guys are tricky, man. Whoa, game save. Is that that game when you run around the coffee table with the dog? Is it up here? I hear it. I think we already got this one. They make this little hum noise. I wonder where it is. I want the mushrooms. Darn it. Come on. There's a third one somewhere. There you are. Gotcha. Ha. Bees. Nice. Quick question, how do you add extra things to the hotbar? You go into your inventory, and then you hover over the thing, and then you press the number you want on the hotbar. You can also add extra hotbars. I've currently got it mapped to Alt, so if I use Alt and roll my scroll wheel, I will choose different hotbars, and then you can add different things in different orders to the hotbars. If anybody else has questions like that, feel free to ask. I'm happy to let people know and encourage people to build faster and have more fun in the game rather than, you know, being frustrated and not being able to do things. No problem, Deg Rice. No problem. Alright, so that is good. The other coal we have... Oh, wait a minute. I need to put a beacon down. I made that mistake once before. Let's not do that. Hopefully he doesn't get hit. Stupid airport internet. Oh, that's no good. Can't have that. Let's options audio factory. Is there a minor volume? Minor volume. It's a little bit better. I want a beacon. This is coal, pure, 240 per minute. No, 480 per minute. Here, now we know what's coming in. I think I can get to that truck. Get out of his way. Take it easy, Fazu. Thanks for trying. Hopefully we'll catch up with you later. So this truck route is not bad. Like, it's not all over the map. It just kind of goes pretty much along these poles. It's just that the tractor is a slow vehicle. Okay. Yeah. It seems about right. Yeah, so this is not being emptied fast enough. So we need to change the lines. This has got the potential for just... We don't need these two lines. We can just have one. 2 lines of 120. Don't need 2 lines of 120. Gonna have to rebalance the coal power plant. That's the only issue. If I start messing with this, it's gonna be problematic. So we've got more than 240 coming in. What are these belts? 270. 270, that's 540. None of our belt combinations make 480. That's 390. That's 330. Yeah. So we need to combine these into one 480 belt. So I mean, really, we just if we disconnect this, it'll just stop, and then we just change the bottom one to 480. But I need to know where that goes. Oh, nice. Oh, you're staying. You're just removing the video. That's a sign of a decent community. You're just like, I'd like to watch you, Joel, but I can't. But I'm still gonna hang out. That's awesome. I have to say, I'm disappointed with the way that those lines work on the foundations. I was hoping we could do more with that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go down here and look at the coal balancing and see where this comes in, because this took a long time to figure out. I'm not sure how much I want to mess with it. Right, so both of those lines are combined. No, 100% of that goes to the coal factory. Okay. Well, that's easier. That means it doesn't matter that these are 2 lines of 120. We're going to end up with more coal than we know what to do with down here, and we'll eventually have to rebalance. But those bottom 2 lines come in here, and they go up here. So as long as we keep that all the same speed, we'll just have to split it somewhere. We'll just have to split it somewhere, which is annoying. We could do it here. Do it here. Alright, that's one part. The other thing we got to look at is this other top part. Is the other part of our coal. And that's way down the other end. Because I think there's only the 2 coal mines within distance. Yeah, this one. And then the one that we were just at is now 480. Oh, there's another one 1,200 meters that way. Huh. Unlike my kids, I still have an imagination. Shots fired, Fazu. Wow. Is that a thing with kids these days? Like they need to be told what to watch? Or if it's not video, they don't want it? I've heard that before with podcasts. We had a lot of pushback when we first started the Spawn Chunks. People were just kind of like, why is there no video? Just because it's a podcast. It's a radio show. First, I guess I should probably eat something here. They have not, to my knowledge, updated the sounds.
Breaking news from Earth. Widespread chaos and mayhem. World President urges all citizens to do their part and harvest alien artifacts.
Oh, he got me. Alright, while we're messing around near the edge, I'm switching to the jetpack.
Comply.
Ada really wants me to get this summer sloop. What's this? More sulfur? Don't need more sulfur. Don't see any slugs nearby. So this guy here is also being split into 2 belts. And this can be upgraded as well. I don't remember why it's 2 belts. Either way, we can split the belts and do 240 on each belt. Because right now, it's doing 120 on each belt. And I should put down a beacon, because this apparently doesn't have one. At least not that I can see. Pure, right? Overclocked to 480 per minute. 2 times 240. All right, so now we have to upgrade this to the Big Bass belt. This is going to go Mark III, and then everything else is going to be Mark III along here. I would just make it 1 belt, and I might come back and do that at some point, but it's the way that it's balanced going into the power grid. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing there. We can always combine it back into 1 line of 480 later. It's just a matter of whether we want to use encased beams or other materials. All right, you're Mark III. You're Mark III. Did I miss anything? All looks good. Fatsu, first time flying with a cane. Somebody made a broom joke. Oh, that's rough. I think we'll use a sign here as well. I need to remove some of these trees. So why that copper is going somewhere else, and that's not going to happen anymore. To fix that. All right, so now we've got 240 on each line. This 240 is being divided. This 240 is being combined. Okay. I remember sort of what I did here, but this is going to take a minute. So we've got 240 and it's being split. 60 and 60. So it wasn't half, but now we're going to upgrade that to 120. This will hopefully fix our power problems too. So that's 120, and that's being split into 60 and 60. And this is now being split into... Nope, that's not being split at all. This is 60 and 120 being combined. So that's 180. That needs to be a Mark III. I don't have enough beams. Okay. So that has to be a Mark III. We've got to have come back down for that. Oh, trying to unpack what Pastoral is doing is challenging. Especially because this save was never supposed to be so permanent. Like, I never thought I was going to be spending this much time in the save. So... And all of this is temporary, so really what we've done down there doesn't matter. We're just going to have to... get a new steel situation sorted. And I haven't gone hard drive hunting. I should maybe go looking for hard drive stuff to unlock a few things. I wanted steel. Oh, we can get rid of a couple things here. The inventory, she is crammed. Sloopy Doop thing. Sam ore thing. Organic stuff we don't need. Although, one of the MAM things required a mushroom. So I just need berries and the mushroom. And then it's mycelia. I have that. Cool. So that will complete that. So what did that unlock? That allowed us to probably make the inhaler with automation. So we've got alien organisms is almost done. That's mycelia done. We could do that one. I don't know. There's no reason to do that. So we'll do this. Just out of pure completion. I feel like we already have this now, but whatever. So nutrients is pretty much done. Power slugs, we need that purple one. That feels like a waste. I don't want to waste a purple power slug, but and then this we cannot do, and sulfur we have to wait for more. I needed more coal, I think. For the sulfur. Okay. I read that as pastajol, probably due to thinking it looked like a mess of spaghetti. Well, that's not entirely untrue. I am a food-driven human. The hard drives are indeed in the same location. So what I'm thinking about doing for this save is not using the scanner for the mushrooms, but instead using the online map and just going to get them rather than searching for them. I think I'm just going to go unlock them. I might do that. If I do that kind of stuff, I might do it off stream or in a silent stream in the Discord. I've been toying around with the idea of doing a silent stream in Discord. I think that could be kind of fun. But what I want to do is I'll get the hard drives, but then I'll unlock them live. So like I'll wait until I'm streaming, put them in the machine, and then we can kind of like look at them together and decide what we're going to do with them. Because I think that's more fun. It's a more interactive way of doing things. Let's just bring all of these. We'll bring more plates too. Back downstairs. This is going to change so much. Originally, I thought this is kind of like a road, but I think we're going to have to change the way that this all connects. So the thing that needed updating was this, because we've got 120 and 60 being merged into 180. So this needs to be Mark III, and that means that the belt has to be Mark III. Now at some point we could combine all this stuff. So that's Mark III. That means this could be Mark III. That's going to be Mark III. I need to go upstairs and see where that's going. So that's now 180. And that looks like it's just going right down the middle. That 180 is being combined with another two. I don't know whether those are supposed to be full things of 60 or not. It looks like I'm supposed to be having 120 coming in on each line, and there's going to be a lot more than that coming in there. Yeah. Let's do the math on these other two belts. The other two belts are 120 because that's all they can handle. And we're not changing them right now. So the two 120s come in here. 60 goes that way. 60 goes that way. And it's just, I guess I'm just using that merger as a connection, or is they... Yeah, they're not belted up across in the between, are they? No. Why is it... Is that a merger? It's a splitter. So it's splitting the 120 into 60 and 60. And then it's splitting... That's 30 and that's 30? So 30 joins 60 to be 90? I bet you those coal things needed 90 on each one of these belts. That's probably what I had to do. So the only issue now is that this middle belt is going to have a heck of a lot more. And it's going to have 180 plus 2 belts of 30, so that's going to take it up to 240, which means we've got to do Mark III. No, not that one. You go back to Mark II. So it looks like we have to go Mark III, and I don't know if I can get at those. Yeah. Looking forward to trying to figure that out too. Alright. So that was the miner we just updated. That's a Mark III now. Not sure how long that went. I'm gonna grab my jetpack. I've got to say that probably got all of it. It's hard to see. Yeah, I'd say we got all of it. What happens in the middle here? Oh, it just goes straight through. It's loud over here. So then we can probably go down underneath and be okay with this. Me trying to be silent. Well, I think the whole idea behind a silent stream is just meant to be like you're not as engaged, and I guess sometimes Steven brought it up on the barista cut, which I still have to publish, of the Citadel Cafe, which is that sometimes if you're concerned about growing the stream audience, but you're playing a game that you're just not sure about, then doing it for a closed community is not going to affect your Twitch numbers. And I thought that was an interesting idea. Alright, so that is 240, I said. And that's going to be split in half. So this is going to be 180. No, 120. That means that that'll be 60, and that's fine. It'll be more than it needs. And that'll be 60 as well. Is this getting split, or is it just being turned on a corner? I think it's just being turned on a corner. So then that has to be 120 as well. So now all of these have got 40 per minute on them, and these machines need 15. So I don't know why we're getting all these fluctuations. I don't think it's our oil that's changing, but it's jumping by an awful lot, so it might be the oil that's causing the fluctuations in the power grid. But like that power grid is not doing well. Hey, Double O Squirrel, how's it going? Good to see you. And I couldn't tell you whether it's the pumps here. They look like they're doing okay. My day has been going so well. We've got a good podcast out this morning. Published early. Decided to do a stream. So, quite happy with that. Can't complain. So, in order to redo the steel, we're going to have to rebalance the coal. So, that's going to be a problem. I was curious where that coal is that's over there by 1,200 meters. So, let's just go see if we can find that. Because with this buggy, that is not a long way to go. Which direction? I thought it was like over there somewhere. I think I know where it is. That was the two we have. There it is. 1,000 meters dead straight ahead. I think it's over the cliff. Down on the beach. I've always wondered where this was, and I've never been able to find it, but now I think I know. Now that we have this little guy, getting around becomes so much easier and more fun. Except for when we have to stop for nuts. It's like gas station snacks, right? We're getting pretty close to that server tour. We're up over 100, I think, now. Does that still say 200? That's supposed to say 150. I'll have to fix it on my break. I know the Twitch chat is saying the correct number. It's the it's my overlay in Satisfactory. I think I changed it in Minecraft and forgot to change it in Satisfactory. Blue power slug, take that. $400 meters, 3 of them. Oh, I see them. They're right in the woods there. I see them. That has to be it, right? There's bound to be some animals around here. Cool little dragonflies. I don't think I've ever seen those before. Oh, yeah. We have the jetpack on? We have the jetpack on. I'm going to have to fight you guys. Come on. Not enough space. Do I not need? Where did all the... Oh, all the plates from picking up the... from changing the belts. I'm overrun. Not enough space. Let's just... We can get rid of some of those. That's fine. We've got these automated. We're not worried about it. So it looks like there's a nice way down. I've definitely seen people build power plants and stuff in this area because you've got lots of water and lots of coal. I'd be more inclined to use that coal for steel than I would anything else. We could also potentially... is that a slug? No, it's a mushroom. We could potentially power the miners over here with its own coal generator, so that could be something we could do too. When you say rebalance the coal, what are you aiming at? Are you trying to meet a certain input of the generators, trying to get a specific output, something else? So what's happening is that we went from having just enough coal to more than enough coal for power, because I only built those was it 15 generators? I can't remember how many there are. So we needed something like 1,800 coal per minute, but now we're bringing in, I think, a lot more than that. Not enough space. Let's just ditch a couple of these things. So yeah, so by rebalancing, what I mean is I need to siphon off just enough coal for the coal power generators, and then I can use the rest of that coal for steel, because you need steel for both energy, or you need coal for both energy and for steel. Did I say that right? You need coal for both energy and for steel. Yeah. This is a cool area. I've never actually been down here before. Oh, more nuts. Looks like there's concrete in the area too. Still getting used to where I put that new button. So 100 meters. So yeah, there's 3 pieces of coal over here. And there's probably bad guys. Plus rocks. Nuts. Where are you, Cole? Oh, there's one. These are cool looking. There's 2 of you. Awesome. Crap. Ah, you hit the tree. You suck. Think fast. So we've got normal coal, and there's another one. I think it was off this way. Where's the third one? I feel like it's off to the left. There was 3, right? No, maybe there's only 2. So there's 2 normal coal. Oh, come on. Alright, well now we know where those are. Yeah, the fire spitting donkey cow. I've got the jetpack on. It's better to have the boots. Blade Runners. Sorry for all the terrible crunching. We can't turn that down yet. It will, I think, be an option. Or did they say they did that? Can't remember if that was a hot fix. Equipment volume, music volume, effects volume. Nothing about eating. I am curious where that goes. I've got a decent idea, but... not, oh, that's a no. We're not going in there. I feel like I know where that goes. Alright, so we can get some more coal going. We could potentially even make steel over here if we had... well, no, we don't have any iron nearby, as far as I know. Oh, there is iron nearby. But it's up there. Or in the cave. Okay. Maybe we could make steel here. Was it me or was that a mangled looking berry? That didn't look too healthy. So it'd be pretty easy to get a vehicle down there. Don't know if a train would do well. Could try it. Oh, there's a tree there. Wouldn't eat that berry? No. It's called a pale berry. Maybe the idea is that it's going to make you pale. In not a good way. So let's just do a quick calculation on what that power plant needs, just to refresh my mind. Oh, I hit the wall. Leaving some mess on the floor, too. Whose idea was it to have a white factory? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 18 of these. And it's 18 times 15 is what we needed for the coal input. 15 coal per minute. And this number is going to sound very familiar as soon as I see it. 270, that doesn't make any sense. I thought we needed a lot more than that. Coal per minute. I guess that makes sense. That's right. The math is right. So 270 coal. That makes sense because I was bringing 240 in from over there and then adding up more. So the reason that these are dropping off, I don't know why, because we're using batteries, right? Our grid is being taxed to the point where it's using our backup power. So I don't know why these are stalling. Because, I mean, it should have an absolute infinite supply. Because this needs 15 times 6. Which is 90. So it was 3 belts of 90 that were supposed to be coming along there. And that's a 120 belt. So if there's more than 90 on it, then it should be fine. But like I said, this belt here, that combines into the middle. It's these two little ones on the side. So they're 120s. 60-60. Right. And then 30-30. So I could just not split that. But I don't want to mess with that right now. Okay. It was Alistair's idea to have white foundations in the factory, was it really? I don't remember that. That's funny. Yeah, it's a decent place for a coal power plant, but I don't want to use power. I guess we could if I decided that this thing was ugly, except for I spent so much time building this in Update 4. I'd really like to keep it and decorate it with the new Update 5 stuff and make it look cool. Because we can have we can have the stacks sticking out of the roof now. So I could put like an angled roof here and we could have like stacks sticking out of it. It'd be really cool looking. We can also build stuff in this space now, which is cool. So I can't really start steel production until I get that sorted. I think the thing to do is to think about where we're going to do the rotors and the motors. So to refresh my mind, those are all in assemblers. Rotors are 20 and iron rods and a lot of screws. Stators actually require steel, so we can't do that yet. And then motors require rotors and stators and even. So we could do rotors. How many motors do we want to use per minute? I might have to look this up on the break and try to figure out how many motors I want to make per minute. Because it only makes one machine only makes one. I want to say we're going to be up in the 10 range. So a rotor is 20 iron rods. A stator is 15 and 40. So I need to find the common denominator with 30 and these numbers. 120, 60. Well, 30, I guess. Yeah, because basically we want to make enough rotors that we're also siphoning off some for storage. I don't know how people do that. Like, do people have like a separate factory in general that fills their storage with stuff? I feel like that has to be what they do. Because otherwise you're just going to be constantly running out of things. Oh, Cosmic blames Alistair for everything. That's convenient. Are we nearby? Oh, he's coming. I am overdue for break, and the Moon Manta is on his way, so I think it's about that time. Plus, I wanted to remind myself where he clips through. I think it's over there. And that's why I think I want to remove this thing here. Yeah, pretty sure if we lowered that by a foundation, he doesn't clip the white part. He clips through right there. And more if his wing is down. Alright, if you're new to the channel, I take a break about once an hour. It's well past that now, but the sun's going down. It's a good opportunity to do that, so we'll let you ride the Manta for a little bit, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey, look, there's a slug over there, and I think we've got that. I don't know if we've got that drop pod. Anyway, I'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes. All right, we're back. So I did a little bit of research on the wiki, and motors are mostly used in building other things like trains and other buildings and stuff. However, they're used in space elevator parts, and they're used in turbo motors. And we need 7.5 per minute for the space elevator part, which is, I think it's called a modular engine. So if we go look actually at my space elevator, we'll find out what we need next to unlock tier 7 and 8. So the number I came up with was 20 motors, but I don't think that's going to be something we can do viably. Yeah, modular engines. It needs 2 to create 1. And that's made in a manufacturer, which I don't have enough to make. Still not really sure what we're doing with this platform down here. Thank you, Cosmic. Thank you, Cosmic. Alright, so do I need... I got some of these heavy modular frames. Oh, really? I only got 5 heavy modular frames left? That's no good. So we need to switch this up. No, it's the other one we need to switch up. Heavy modular frame. So modular frame, steel pipe, encased industrial beam, and screws. We're going to make some of these while we're doing other stuff. So, steel pipe, encased beams, screws, and modular frames. Modular frames are easy. They're over here. And we've got encased beams and steel pipes are also right here. Do case beam, steel pipe, and then screws was the last one. Yeah. And everything is slow except for this one. Now we just need to get more screws. And this has power. And the output is going into this bin over here. Okay, cool. Oh. Gonna need that. Let's ditch those. Let's do a little bit of inventory sorting here. Thank you for flying in Manta Airways. We hope you enjoy your flight. That's awesome. I can put away all of the guts. Put away some of these. Okay. So I think we got that sorted. What we now need to do is either think about where we're going to do the motors. So if we've got this motor factory, transportation, production. So motors require 10 of each for 5. So if we needed 20 motors, then we're going to need 40 rotors and 40 stators. So 40 rotors is 200 rods. No. I would need... It makes 4 per minute. So if this is doing... We needed 4 of these. So that's 40 rotors. It's making 4, so we would need 10 machines, which is 200 rods and 400 screws. And then the other one would be also 4 machines? No. This is making 5 per minute. So we would need... Did I do that wrong? 4 per minute. We would need 40. So I need 10 machines. Yeah, 10 machines. And then for the stators, I would only need 8 machines. 8 times 15 is 270. And 4 times 8 is 3,200. No, yeah, 320. Okay. What are the organics all used for? You can break them down into biomass, and they make a lot. So, like, if you're in the early game and you're tired of running around looking at grabbing leaves and trees and stuff, then you can kill an animal and get a lot of biomass out of it. But you can also use them to make the inhalers. I think it's a manufacturer, though. Yeah, you can't make it in an assembler. So the inhalers are something that you can make as well, and they restore you from whatever health you're at to full health. We can just go and look at the recipe in here. You can get alternate recipes as well. Yeah, so nutritional inhaler is the mushroom, berry, nut, and mycelia, and then we've got 2 different recipes for that. I don't know why. Probably just because of the MAM. I thought you could do more with them. Oh, here we go. Medical inhaler. Or medicinal inhaler is, yeah. So it's 3 organs and mycelia, and it makes 1. I think it makes 1. But you don't need them nearly as often as you need berries and stuff. So I usually turn them into these, because I don't tend to use fabric for much of anything. But either way, you can't automate them. You still have to manually fill in the materials. Alright, so I said 5 motors per minute. So we need 4 motors. We'd need 10 rotors, right? Yeah, 10 rotor machines. So 200 per minute. I'm sure we've got the screws. We've definitely got 400 screws kicking around. I think I've got like 1,400 screws kicking around. So 10 of these guys is 200 rods, and then to get 200 rods, That does not go evenly into the night. Is 13.33 repeating. I mean, we could do that. Or we could do 15 per minute and then just siphon off what we make out of this. Because we're not currently, we don't have rods going into our system. So what we could do for this is 15. We could do, was it times 12? No, 14. 210, right? So 13, yeah. So if we did 14 constructors, we could siphon off these 10 and put them in storage. And then that way, everything would be balanced down the line. So 14 constructors, right? Yep. And that's 14 times 15, which is 210 iron, which we absolutely have. Unfortunately, that's not a whole belt. We've got another 2 belts of 300, so we've got another 600 iron in here. So I guess 14 constructors, that's not a small feat. We could probably put those in this building here on the ground floor. So just like 7 of those guys in a row. And we could probably feed them right into this. Now, I guess we'll bring the screws over from over there. I'm wondering if it's going to be easier to take the iron from here, bring it over into this building, and then bring the screws directly from these top floors straight like underneath and into this. So I think maybe that is where we're going to need to put our rod production. That makes sense. Plus there's other iron that we can bring through here too. So that's easy. What we can do is finish up the inside of this with some platforms and whatnot. Looks like we've got most of that sorted out down here. We have a temporary end, so we can bring this along. Oh, we have an issue. Does that fit in a door? Hope it fits in a door. Just to be fun. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Stick it in always open mode. That looks a little bit off. I don't know if we can work that one quite the way we want to. So, do we want... I don't know if we even need these in here. It could create an interesting shape to the room, but it's not necessary. We will probably want to have... Do I have those cart paths and stuff? I do, don't I? Patterns. Yeah. Maybe we'll just paint stuff for now. Oh, this is a different shape. And we had to use 2 fill blocks, I think. Although the back of it might not be the same. Yeah, there's 2 full foundations. We'll do the same thing back here. See you later, Dang Rice. Good to see you as well. Have a good one. So that does not leave a huge floor in here. Like it's a big building, but it's not a overly massive production floor. Like that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not even. I mean, there's nothing to say that we have to have that here. We could have this wall be here as well. And this could just be like the front thing. That's probably the better way to do it because that gives us a lot more room. Maybe we'd go to here. Oh, why does that? Oh, that's the outside wall. No, it's not. Why am I confused? Oh, I'm missing a foundation. So we could use this as the inside here. And then that way we don't have to have all these here. And we'll have more space. Not to say that we can't expand these backwards, we totally could. So this is just kind of like a temporary idea, but that means that we can remove these. Yeah, anything that gives you more room is always better, I agree. Oh, that's wrong. Nope. Not there. Mark for Live Gaming, subscribe to Tier 1, keeping us above 100 subs. 5 months in a row, coming up on that Air Keystone badge. Thanks ever so much, Mark. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for supporting the content. So this is what I was talking about on the Spawn Chunks today, about how really quickly you could just get stuff mapped in and get a feel for a space. This is throwing me, so we're just going to remove all this. We could potentially have more than these large floors. We could have much smaller floors too. That's potentially where the floors would go, even though we could go higher or lower. Especially because a constructor is really small. Right? Like we could fit 2 constructors in that space. And these guys are just going to be making rods. And I feel like if we just had them loaded from behind, so like we could have this be the space that they occupy. The Ice Dragon TW subscribe to Tier 1. Welcome in. Thanks ever so much. Make sure you connect your Discord and your Twitch accounts so that you can join the Discord in between streams. So we could have 14 of these easily lined up. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So we could probably center them and do 2 rows of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. I feel like we could do 7 this way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be one of the constructors there. Not sure where on this space we'd put them. We'd have to do the old splitter behind them. I feel like I want to try to do something more interesting with this, though, than just more constructors doing their own thing. But this way, 2, and then that goes to there. Oh, we need 14, don't we? We should face them the other way. So we could load them up down the middle, and then they could be sticking out the sides there. We could also think about whether or not we want to do more than one on a floor. Don't know if we have the room for that, though. I guess we've got the opportunity to do, like, the clipping and stuff. So we could do 14 that way, but then that sticks up well above that top floor. Where's my jetpack? There we go. Yeah, that's tight. How many floors are these? I feel like the top one has got some leeway. So we could make the base floor 5. So go up 5 and then go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It would. I feel like we might want to leave ourselves some room. What's the top of these things look like? I think we get inspired by this. They've got a little bit of stuff on top of them, so we could probably build them up. They don't have to be flat on the top, which is cool. Okay. Yeah, I'd be comfortable, I think, making that decision, making this bottom floor start here. Which means that this would be the top. Which means that we could, I guess, sort of split the difference. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. So then I guess we would just one, 2.5. Not quite even, I don't think. I guess we also have these little small walls. We could just count it out. That's nice now. We can just use these. I do find it strange the way that the foundations and the walls overlap, so you never really get the same amount of stuff. Like these always take up, however, like a full meter of your 4 meter wall. So let's go with, that's 8, and then that's 10. So we need to drop this by 1. So then that would be 9, and that would be 9. And that should be just enough room to slide a constructor underneath there. And then same thing up here. Oh, come on. Yeah, okay. I like the idea of having them up on platforms and stuff better. Takes up way less floor space. Do we need to institute Steven's bingo here? Oh, what? Have I said something like repeatedly? Oh, when we can't see it, I've got the board up. I'm sorry. Let me re-explain. Pro streamer here. All I did was put these single walls down along here, and then I counted them out. So we've got 8 here. Sorry, 9 there. That's 9. And then we've also got 9 here. So that's making sure that this is in the middle between this floor and this floor. That's all I did. Sorry, thank you, Cosmic. I got there. My bad. Apologies. So this is all going to go. And then we can use this as kind of like the new floor. Sorry, folks. Apologize. You didn't miss much, I swear. Because we could have the constructors kind of like in this space here. Let's just say we start it here. Maybe we'll bump him a little bit forward. Because then we can have the logistics for this could have some cool update 5 splitting happening where we take a splitter that's being fed from this side, snap that right in the middle, and we can move that over closer too. But then if this is the main feed and this is being siphoned off that way, we could also split it with lift, have that go up here through some cool floor stuff, and go into another guy up there. And then we could have the same with the export too. We did this over in the Devastator factory, where we had a kind of like a combination of merger splitter nonsense going on. Where this guy could have like a lift on him. And now that we can do this kind of thing, I mean, he's not centered, but like we can do that, and it clips just barely, but like before you'd never be able to get that close. So we can create some really interesting and cool sort of things. So we could have either a double stack of mergers here, depending on how we wanted to do it, or we could have this come out and connect somehow. We could push it all back too. There's no need to run behind this, so I could move the whole thing back, and then this could come down and connect and have the output like go right down that area too. That could be kind of fun. What if we did this? Grab a splitter. Don't know if that would work. A little bit tight. And there's no need to be that tight. This is just kind of like spitballing. I'm in here. The merger would be here. And then this guy could export out the front. Connect like that, which could also be going down through a hole. I might want to nudge that just a little bit back, right? Like it might be worth it just to take this and put it just a little bit closer. Right, so that could be your two machines. One being fed, both being fed from behind, and then both exporting out like that. And then this would just have like a thing on it here. Obviously that machine's not lined up, but splitters in the wrong way. Oh, probably. I'm kind of just spitballing this idea. Yeah, like I'm just trying to figure out like what slice, like what kind of slice design could we come up with. This has to be repeated 7 times down the wall, right? I'm just trying to come up with stuff that looks cool, and it's different. I don't know about cool looking is the only thing. It seems like a lot of trouble. Feels like it's more trouble than it's worth, right? When really we could just split 2 feeds once, you know, with a lift, and then just have one feed and then the other feed. I like the stuff coming down and connecting. That's cool. But I feel like, I don't know, I don't necessarily feel like that looks all that cool. The only other thing I could think of would be to have everything be fed underneath, but that seems a little convoluted. Well, we could do that. We have like an extra space underneath here, so we could have, you know, instead of this here at all, we could just have a straight up something that comes like this with floor holes, obviously, and just do that kind of thing. Fed from behind, but feeds into the room. That's actually pretty slick. And then we could have the same thing here. With a floor hole. This is also fed from behind. Feeds into the room. Yeah, this I'm not crazy about. Thinking that might look a little bit better. And that way, if we did have this here, it's not going to impede our walking, I don't think. Yeah, like we can still walk through here. which is one of my biggest beefs about tight factories, is that you have a hard time getting around. So that's kind of cool. And then for power, I guess we would just hook everything up to the ceiling like we would normally do. That kind of thing. Seems kind of unimagined, but... Dinner time lurk. Have a great evening. Thanks so much, McScrewgun. Always great to see you. Glad to have you here. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's probably the best way to do the bottom. So then the top part, I'd want to try and have the machine on the same space, I guess. I think that's almost right. Yeah. That would go there. And then export. Yeah, I guess we could just... Maybe this is where we put it in into a single or a double tall thing like this. We'd have to move the space around, obviously. Sounds like that would work, but it would look terrible, so we won't do that. But, you know, if we move this stuff forward a bit. Because that way they're going to be on two separate lines. And so we'd have 7 times 15, which is 105. That's not at all what we want. We'd want to make sure they connect. So having them separate is of no benefit to us. So we might as well combine them. And the way to do that is probably going to be something like this. And that's messy. That, or we have this come out this far and just have a separate line up the top. That got snapped to a weird place, didn't it? Cheers for the stream. Gotta head off. Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate it. Glad you have a good time when you're here. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty normal. We could maybe do the double power thing. Save us some headaches down the line. I think I like that. I think that makes sense. I guess the only other issue then is then how do we power these? If these are both needing feeds from the same belt, that's a little snug. So we might have to push this out a little bit. We've got the room up here. Like this can be moved forward if we needed it to. But really it's this that has to go forward. Because what I would want underneath is like a splitter. Probably somewhere around here. And then we'd have, each one would come off the same splitter. So I guess it would just be a matter of pushing this one forward until it met the right distance. And it looks like it'd be well over here, so we might end up sacrificing a bit of space. But I always like to have a perimeter in my buildings that I can walk around, so leaving that a little bit more open wouldn't be the end of the world. And really, it's only going to push us out to here. And that still leaves 1, 2... So another 4 spaces in the middle here. I'd like to at least try to keep maybe the middle 2, 3. Just for design and aesthetics and stuff. I like to design enough room to fit the other machines. Oh, for sure. So like this is going to be our rods, 200 rods. Where's the assemblers? So 200 rods. We need 10 of these machines. And then the 400 screws, the screws are being made right across the way. Like, I think I've got 480 screws going into that alone. So, and we've got 5 of those. So I've got a lot of screws happening in that other building. So we can just bring them, somehow work them down below, and then get them over here. And then getting 10 of these guys hooked up. The only trick part there is just how big they are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just grab a different color here. And it's not to say that we have to do them over here. We can move. We might not want to cross the room. Maybe we want to do other things. But like if we have these guys here, and let's just put them, I guess, on this space here. So we can fit 10 comfortably if we go up and down the rows. Short rotors. They don't fit, I think, under this, though. No. Or they do, but, like, it's super tight. Possible. With another machine on top, you'd never see that light poking through. The other way we could do... Yeah, I think we'd only be able to get... Oh, we might be able to get 9, but we need 10. So, I think this is probably the best way to do these ones all set up. Unless we want to do like an asymmetrical room. My brain is still thinking like the way that I've got all these other things set up with a hole in the middle so you can look up into the factory. Because we could fit the other ones like here in... Oh, if I grab this one. Like we could easily do this kind of a thing. If we wanted to have the alley to walk down this factory, like down the side here. Or we could center these guys on the middle and then have room for something else on the side. Yeah, the little teeny light through the top. I don't think we'd notice it though because we'd build another machine right on top of it. So it would end up like in this section right there. I don't think you'd see it. You might see like the bottom of it, but I wouldn't be really worried about it. Because we will have to do a second floor of these if we have them all over there. So it's probably better in our floor experience to have them all set up. So it might be worth it to go from here, have these guys actually start in this space. So just like flat out have this connect to another line. And then have these guys up closer like this. I don't know. I'll have to think about that as to how I want to handle it. mean, it's one thing where you've got lots of room. It's almost good and bad at the same time. It's almost good and bad at the same time. Because we don't have any room in this building at all to make anything else. I don't think so. And I've got this weird kind of thing with like wanting to keep center lines and have things centered in the building. I'm not sure if I'm alone on that in this game, but I definitely have sort of a strange vibe for that kind of stuff. What if we did these this way? That's an even number, so we'd have 1, 2, 3. It would come to there. Because we could do this, but like rotate it 90 degrees and have it all facing us. And then we could have these guys rotated the other way around as well. That might be the way to do it. Maybe what we need to do is have these guys facing this way. So we could definitely get, I don't know if we can get 10. We might be able to. They take up how many spaces? 1 1/4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So no, we'd end up with, we wouldn't be able to get 10 across there. Still stuck with 5. But we could do, I was gonna say it's too bad we couldn't do like 5 here and 5 there, but it's just an odd configuration to have like 5 instead of 6 or. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. Tight. Literally odd. Yeah. Yeah. Odds and evens in this game. It's the same with Minecraft. You're always trying to put something on a center line somewhere or whatever. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm kind of, I know I want to do something like this for the rods. I feel like that's probably the best place for it. Because then we've got the whole rest of the room to do other things. I just might have to make peace with not having this be a nice big open space. Like I'm just thinking about some sort of like system like that where like you've got stuff happening on the left and stuff happening on the right, but then this is open and empty. And maybe the height of the whole build or something, it could be kind of cool. I never think to change these into rooms either. I never think to add walls and make things segmented. I always think that it looks better if they're an open floor. Yeah, I'd say 5, and then I guess we just have to do 5 in another space, I guess. I mean, we could try to fit them over here. That's tight, because we'd need another row of these going down. I'm not sure I'm really fond of that either. It's funny how you can have so much space and yet feel so cramped when you start to think about how many machines you have to fit into the whole thing. I also need to double check to make sure that 20 motors is enough or too many. I think I'm only making 10 in my other playthrough. So, all right. Well, unfortunately, that is where I have to wrap it up today because it is about time for me to grab my dinner. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream. If you have, please follow before you take off. We're going to try to raid somebody playing Satisfactory. There usually is someone at this time. And while you're out there, you can listen to some free podcasts. I do one about Minecraft. Brand new episode came out today. That's called The Spawn Chunks. It's at thespawnchunks.com. And I do the Citadel Cafe. We're recording a new one this week with Lou. And we're going to be talking about Arcane on Netflix. It's a League of Legends based animation show. And it's very, very good. And the current episodes, of course, are all at thecitadelcafe.com. Last but not least, check out Patreon. It's one of the best ways to support the stream. That's patreon.com/JoelDuggan. That gets you access to the Discord, just like a tier 1 sub or a Prime Gaming sub. And I truly appreciate all of it. You folks are great. And I'll see you the next time I stream, which at this point is at least Friday on the schedule. I'm going to try to weasel in more throughout the week, but we'll see what we can do. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.